You mean like press coverage?
No, just people coverage,
Personnel,
volunteer, staff, personnel. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Good.
enough bodies, and we're going to do shifts and that sort of thing. So it should be no problem.
Okay, good deal. I just hate to miss the fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm sure of that. All right, so Maggie won't be able to make it today. And I hadn't heard back from Jean.
So is this everybody then? Looks like Greg has joined. Series on. So is this
Carol?
it, Joe? Oh, Carol, yeah.
Lynn's coming in right now.
Wait a minute. Is Carol on the advocacy committee now?
Yeah, I think.
Actually, yeah, I think Tom invited her.
Yep.
Oh,
right?
For God's sake, that's on me then. I know I had some other meetings I set up, but I'll bet you anything she wasn't on my invite list. I don't think I updated it. Ugh.
Focus, Joe, focus.
Yeah, do my best there, Len.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Well,
I think that's right, Joe. I'm kind of going back and looking at my notes too.
because I've
Yeah,
invited a number of
remember.
people at different meetings and whatnot, and it's
Yeah.
starting to all run together.
I think at the last meeting, you mentioned inviting her to join, but
Yeah.
I don't know where it went from there.
Yeah, I have her listed on there.
Yeah, I was looking at an old committee list, and I'm looking at my invite list that I just picked up and used, and she's not on there yet, so I'll correct that.
Okay.
Well, shall we go ahead and get started? Lynn is on. Yep, good. Well, welcome everybody. Everybody's looking good
All,
and healthy.
all COVID, all
That's
COVID free.
Yay. Stay that way.
Yes.
Okay, well, Joe, do you want to go on and start with the first item with the meeting that you've scheduled for the early childhood exhibit discussions?
Yeah, so we have a growing list for that. Let's pull it out here.
Joe, did you include Maggie on the invitation?
For today?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she said she
Yes.
couldn't make it.
Okay. All right.
So the people who have RSVP'd positively so far, and there are more people on the list, we have Jeff Fife of the YMCA, Rebecca Patton, who is sort of like an early childhood specialist at the Y. I didn't hear specifically back from Maggie, but I assume she's going to also participate. Sandy Green, Dan Lehman of the Blue Ridge Community Foundation, Tom Benzing, and he set up Tim Tichy and Angela Dietz from the school systems. So Faye and Len, are you going to make it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't responded, but yes, I have it on my calendar. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
October
attend
20.
that. Yeah.
Okay, October 27th at 6 p.m. And so
6:30, I think, isn't it? I put 6:30 on my calendar. Is it 6?
no, I have it 6:30. You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll send out proper invitation for that, and Zach and I'll set up the Zoom call, and I'll also forward I think I'm just going to go ahead and send the whole exhibit narrative so they get to see it in context, and so and then tell them that the portion we'll be focusing on will be on pages, whatever those are. So one thing I was thinking about, though, right now we have 10 or so people. We might end up with a dozen or 15, who knows. I wondered if anyone had any strong feelings on how to moderate the discussion. So for instance, I could get an independent person, a colleague in the community possibly, to basically moderate the discussion, or it's something that I could moderate and, just be a set of ears as opposed to, continuously interrupting with, stuff that's been discussed prior to that meeting. The other thing that could be done, I'm thinking anyway, and I have not found an example with which to borrow from, but can we pose certain questions and let people use the chat function to enter their information? And then, so if they have if we pose certain questions about, a theme or a way to convey a message, or what do we feel it's missing from the experience, this will give people a chance to independently type without talking to each other. And then whoever's moderating, me or whoever, can go through the responses, though that might also get a little, burdensome of having 10 or 15 people replying and then someone having to kind of go through the list. So
I
I
think
haven't come up with a magic bullet yet.
yeah, a lot's going to depend on how many participants you have. If you end up with, I don't know, how many do you have so far? Half dozen?
Close to 10.
Well, so it's likely to be more, right? How many folks did the invitation go out to?
Maybe 15, certainly no more than 20. So
Okay.
yeah, you could expect a dozen to 15 people on the call.
Yeah.
Jonathan?
So I've been on a few political roundtable things here recently, and they've used the chat function as a queue. So they would pose a question, and then if somebody would like to respond, they would respond to the moderator privately, just pretty much stating their name. And then the moderator would then unmute that individual, let them say their answer, and then go down the line of those that, sent a message with their name in the queue until that was, and then remute that person and move to the next. It seemed to work really well for those. It was like 30 people.
That sounds good.
All right, maybe
Sounds like a good option.
maybe me, Jonathan, Zach, and Ryan can do a test just to see how it goes. So Ryan, you can play, I'm sorry, Jonathan, you can play moderator and see about flipping back and forth. Yeah, well,
All right.
volunteered yourself.
I got it.
So
I would suggest, Joe, too, that maybe you find somebody to act as facilitator or moderator rather than yourself, just because that way you can participate in the discussion. And I think a facilitator really is going to be neutral in the discussion, and you aren't. So I think that would probably be better if you could find somebody like that. And maybe that person could manage the chat and all of that. So you're not having to do, juggle 3 balls at the same time.
And Joe, one other thought, maybe a thought might be to do in advance of the meeting a quick survey, a Survey Monkey thing that kind of hones in on where the issues are, right? So if there's general agreement about certain things, you can kind of get that out of the way, and then focus in on the things that you're really trying to drive at, and then the conversation becomes a lot more focused. And when we actually get into the meeting, just a way to kind of get us honed in on what's important.
How long are you expecting the meeting to run?
Try to run it an hour with no more than an hour and a half. We'll probably start. I mean, if it looks like it's still going at 7:15, we'll probably make the announcement that we're going to try to limit discussion to 15 more minutes, because people just get tired. And we want to be respectful. Some of these people are being very generous with their time, and we don't want to make them cringe next time they get a Zoom invitation.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't run it much past an hour. The other thing you might consider is breakout rooms, which are something you can use in Zoom. And if they're like people that want to gel around a particular aspect of it, you could set up some breakout rooms if it makes sense to have maybe 3 groups of 5 or something like that.
Honestly, I didn't know you could do that. So we'll look into that function, because we could use that World Cafe format we've used for strategic planning and so forth.
Yeah, it can work pretty well as long as people are focused, and you might want to think about who would go into each of the breakout rooms. I'd certainly be willing to serve as one of the people in a breakout room. Maybe, some people that are more familiar with the design and so forth that would be assigned to particular breakout rooms.
Okay, thank you. And I'll survey some of the staff I'm sorry, not the staff, but the advocacy committee, to see if folks from the committee would like to act as kind of a person just to kind of keep the conversation focused in the breakout room. Zach just chatted me. Well, it was a group chat. Oh no, he chatted to me. Education uses breakout rooms for homeschool programming. So clearly we already have some hidden expertise, at least expertise I didn't know we had, that we'll work on a format and make sure we're ready for the 27th.
So Joe, if this was an in-person event, hang on a second. If this was an in-person meeting, would you you would try to drive for like a charrette type of thing, right?
Yeah, so we would set up, as the breakout room concept of Zoom alludes to, we'd set up easels and other gadgets at maybe 3 to 5 stations, and each station has the same question that the groups answer in their own way. But what we also do is we randomize the movement of people. So in other words, no group that you interact with at one of the easel locations is identical. And so basically you just get discussion going, and I encourage people to draw diagrams, tables, pictures, make bullet lists to help answer the questions, and it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah,
So
cool.
it's sounding like we can do the same thing here, just electronically.
Yep.
There's and I'm saying this with some trepidation because I haven't used it myself, but I've seen it been used. There's something called Mural, M-U-R-A-L, that's used very much like a whiteboarding thing where, if you have a bunch of people, they can participate at the same time. They can be writing stuff down on a board under different categories. So, much like you would do whiteboarding in an in-person session. So you might want to explore Mural. The only hesitancy that I have in recommending that is you do have to get used to using the tools. And it took, when I had the experience, it took, maybe 5 minutes or whatever for everybody to become comfortable with how to put in their remarks and so forth. So it would be good if a facilitator could kind of walk through that pretty quickly if you were going to choose to do it.
All right. Well, I'll find out what the depth of Christie's experience is, and we do have clearly Zach's got some knowledge as well, and we'll do a mock session at some point and see what that looks like.
Okay, that all sounds good. Do you want to move on to promotional videos unless there's something else, other ideas on the educational meeting?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right, so Jonathan is going to send out a link. I think we just got it today or yesterday or something like that, we observed the videos and offered up some suggestions to try to get the points of the committee had mentioned before about making sure that we had, talking about not just Waynesboro, although I think one of them is Waynesboro centric, right, Jonathan?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of more specific towards the local population. And then there's commentary in the others that that talk about farther out within the state. So at this point, I think homework for the committee would be to review these. And if you want to email comments our way and or bring it up as a agenda item for the November meeting, that's the route I suggest we go.
Sounds good. And how many are there?
Is it 3?
What, 3? Yeah.
Currently there's 5.
There's
Oh,
5. Okay.
wow.
There's
That's
two.
great.
There's two different. There's 2 different
Well,
communities.
That's right. We've got the longer one.
We'll drop one.
Yeah, we also, I forgot about the longer one. We did a 3-minute video
Right.
on top of the shorter ones.
So it'll be 4 finished when it's all said and done. There'll be 4, 3 short and then 1 long.
Okay. All right. Well, if everybody could take a look at those on the link that Jonathan's sending and then get back certainly prior to the November meeting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Yep.
That's a big deal. And the Dino
Good
drive-through show coming up Saturday.
Ryan, would you like to just walk through what we're doing and how we're doing it?
Yeah, so it's going to be noon to 5. And so we're going to have a pretty similar setup to what we did in Martinsville, which is a line of tents and sort of vendor tables, not vendors, but exhibitor tables. So we'll have a variety of fossils, we'll have education activities. And basically the idea is each car, our average per car was about 3 minutes in Martinsville. And so we want to kind of reduce that a little bit. But what we're shooting for is 20 cars per hour. So over those 5 hours, we'll have 100 cars, and they are pre-registered. So it is not just a kind of a show up event. It's everybody's got their tickets already. They've got their specific time slot. So we're going to have noon to 1, 1 to 2, and so on. So hopefully get the traffic flowing steadily. Obviously, there will be some people who show up late, show up early, but our staff has pretty well got a plan for that. So yeah, hopefully with those 100 cars, we'll reach, anywhere from 300 to 400, possibly 500 people.
Right. How many have signed up, Ryan?
The full 100.
The
So,
full 100?
Yes.
That's
Wow,
awesome.
that's
Yeah, and-
fantastic.
So it's a donation model. So
Right.
the last one we did in Martinsville, it was just over $4. It was around $5 per car. And we figured that was a lot easier logistically than trying to charge per car. And and it creates the goodwill. And we saw pretty much every car coming through in Martinsville gave a donation of some kind. So.
Well,
So
that
is
sounds
that-
great.
Does that mean you're maxed out on reservations at this point?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
great. Are
So
we going to
for-
give? Yeah, that's great. Is there plans to have like a handout so that every car drives away with some promotional piece on supporting this Waynesboro campus?
We could give them a trifold. We don't have an updated one with the new images, but actually at this one, I hadn't really considered it, but at this one it'd be appropriate, I think, to set up a couple of easels towards the end with the a few of the latest images on display.
Yeah, the very, very last station. And then everybody should drive away with one of those flyers.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
I've looked at the weather forecast. It doesn't look real great for Saturday. So I was glad you're doing mostly everything in tents, right? With, they're just driving really close by. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so pretty much when they look out the window, the tent's right there.
Yeah.
We're planning for the rain, so we're going to have
Okay.
additional blankets, things to help protect the fossils.
Oh, good.
So,
It rained last time too.
Yeah.
And everybody's wearing masks, right?
Yes.
Sounds like
We all have
fun.
we all have access to face shields and
Good.
sanitizer and so forth. So
Yeah.
we'll max out on protection.
That's a good idea with the new CDC announcement, which of course it's been out there for a long time about the aerosol aspect of COVID. Shields are a really good idea.
The other thing that we're going to do just to be prepared, I don't know how popular it'll be, especially if the weather isn't awesome, but the Greenway is very popular. So we're going to set up one table behind the tents up against the fence that separates the lot from the Greenway. And we're going to have a few fossils out there. So curious people from the Greenway can stop and ask what's going on if they want. And we can show
And
them
also-
things as well.
And also some of those designs from the Waynesboro project.
Yeah,
If-
we can do that
If
as well.
not an easel, but certainly maybe that booklet. And if you had a copy of the South River Preserve over, the view from above, so to show the Greenway, participants how it kind of integrates with it, that would be really cool.
All right. We'll prep a few things for that.
And some
Right.
brochures.
Yeah.
As a fond friend of mine who was a district sales manager from San Francisco had as his motto, when leaving a customer site, leave no ass unkissed. So everybody that comes through needs to get a brochure.
All right, team.
But if
pucker
it ends
up.
Hey, Len, we're being recorded.
Well, all right. That's about as crude as I'll get.
Okay, that's good.
This is
Anything
Greg.
else on the Dino
Yeah.
show?
Two things I wanted to add to Ryan. This thing sold out in like 3 days, so sold out
Great.
really fast from what we gathered. And then also, I just want to think a little bit about what we do about the Southern Preserve in terms of handing things out. I'm not sure where exactly we are in that process, so let me think about that. And I'll get back to you, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's really, really great news about the sellout crowd. That's fantastic. Hope the weather will give you all a break. What's going on at the library, Waynesboro Library?
Yeah, we had a good meeting and I've briefed the staff. The library is not yet open to the public. So Kevin and I are basically staying in touch. When he begins to see the landscape shape up, that he has an idea as to when the library will open back up to the public, we'll make plans to transfer the Triceratops and some interpretive material up to the library. So he picked an area out. We gave him the dimensions. So we'll send it up there with the appropriate stanchions and interpretive panels that we can install up there. It's not that big of a deal. I think it 4, 5, 6, I think it's 7 pieces. So, and it all fit in the box truck. And so we can do it all in one day.
All right, that sounds
So
good.
then at that point, we just need to think about some kind of joint announcement, to make, kind of a splash with it via social media, and then a press release as well. And we'll
Yeah.
get some photos and whatnot, maybe even make our own in-house little video of the process, bringing the big Triceratops skull through the side door of the library or something, So
Yeah.
we'll ham it up a little bit.
Oh, you should. Absolutely.
Maybe you could
So-
fly it in on a helicopter.
Yeah. That
Sorry,
seems to
never
get
mind.
people's attention.
We'll bar Marine One, since now it's something where everyone's using for their own
Tom's
personal.
gone, Lynn.
Very
No
good.
politics, no politics.
I didn't mention no politics.
I know, but
talking
you were
about the
getting real
optics.
close.
It's about the optics.
The optics, yes. Favorite word these days.
That's right.
How about the lecture series? Joe, how did it go that evening in September?
Well, bluntly put, there was a half decent crowd considering, so Tom, I don't know if you remember, I didn't do a head count, but it was maybe 20 or maybe up to 2
Yeah,
dozen.
I'd say 15 or 20. And
Yeah,
what
there-
I actually noticed was there were several younger folks there, which was nice. There were several high school students there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were kind of scattered out up in the balcony.
but considering the times, that's not bad, but did it get recorded? Was it
Got
recorded?
recorded, but it didn't go live. To this day, I don't quite understand the technical issue, but the kind of maddening part was that Len's Rotary Club was broadcast and simulcast live the next day. So apparently they got that fixed. And so rest assured from discussions with the Wayne Theater that it's now good to go. So when Adam goes, what is it, next week?
Yes, the
Go look at the
13th.
calendar here.
Yes, it's next week.
Okay, yeah, the 13th. It should be recorded for archiving, but will also be broadcast live.
Good.
I could add to that, I guess, or give you an update. So what was happening, the couple of prior weeks to this week, during our Rotary simulcast or our live streaming, there was some quality issues with the health of the stream. Chris was able to resolve those issues, and ever since then it's been essentially flawless. But probably the biggest gain right now is that they went ahead and made the commitment and purchased a purpose-built computer for live streaming and have brought 3 more cameras with it. So now they've got a computer that is maxed out. It's like the Obsidian version of the configuration that the streaming software recommends. So they are fully capable now of producing a very high quality product. And now they'll also have 4 high quality cameras that are going to be strategically positioned. I don't know where they stand in installing all that at this point. I don't know if they'll have it in place by next week or the week after, but this new computer is going to give them the power or the engine that they need to do multiple stream. They can stream simultaneously to YouTube and Facebook, interact or at the same time. So I don't anticipate any problems. And I can tell you the last couple of Rotary meetings have been perfect. The quality's been right on, and there's been no issues. So anyways, if it doesn't happen again, then we should have some serious discussions. regarding the video, I have seen the video and it was shared with me. It's a big file. It's a huge file actually, but the video came out great, you know, and Joe did a nice job. That the imaging was really good. So I believe, are we making that available on the website somewhere, Joe? Because I still haven't seen it posted.
Frankly said, all things website are a little fluid right now because we're about 95% towards releasing the updated website with store and purchasing capability and everything else that we're doing with it, integrated into our Blackbaud system and everything else. So it will be, if it's not already.
Okay. So that would be, I think, important to, you know, get it on the Waynesboro site anyways, because you do a good job of explaining, you know, the whole project. You know, and then just one last thing regarding, you know, videos, you know, creating a library that we can push on YouTube if they're interesting, you can actually monetize those views. After you get so many followers and so many views, YouTube will actually pay for the video. I think it's like 1 million, but you know, you've got tremendous content and you've got tremendous resources there. All of your researchers are pretty entertaining. Their Facebook stuff's been worth watching. And I think, you know, people like the stuff you're presenting, and I think you could probably get some real followers out there. So that might be a strategy to discuss, you know, let's further discuss it down the road. But I do believe
we've touched on that topic. Ben Williams is spearheading looking into Patreon, which I'm not going to begin to try to explain how it works.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. So it's a mechanism by which you can monetize your videos. He explained the whole thing. I'll look for it, Len, and I can forward it to you what Ben had sent to me, but it's something I've not personally tried.
Yeah, I guess you know, just to highlight the comment, I think the issue is that you've got tremendous content now. You've built up some nice, you know, presentable content that would be attractive to a wider audience, and that wider audience could generate some supplemental income, you know, if we get creative and innovative about how it's presented. But I think it's a real opportunity for the museum to provide, you know, real added value outside of the state of Virginia, not just outside of Martinsville. I'm talking about, you know, kind of a global viewing audience, really. So anyways, it's a great opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Off the topic, sorry about that, Faye, but just
that's okay. That's all right. What else is about the lecture series? We're scheduled through December, right? Or into next year?
Into next year.
Okay.
So next year will be more of a focus on presenters whose presentations were canceled last year due to COVID.
Oh, okay.
Will anybody be introducing Adam? You know, you introduced yourself at the last one, but it seems to me it would help to have somebody kind of draw the theme between the topics and kind of let people know something like that the videos may be posted on the museum website and what's coming up in the coming months and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure Tracy does a good job at that.
Tom, are you in England right now?
I'm not, no.
Oh, okay.
That got canceled, so I'm teaching at JMU.
Yeah, okay, all right. Are you not able to do that?
Are you going to be there in person?
I'm planning to host, Adam, and take him to dinner beforehand.
Well, would you be the one to do the intro then, and you know, to kind of tie it together with the other topics and what we're doing in Waynesboro?
Yeah, I hadn't planned to do that. I thought somebody else was going to take over the lead role there, but if there's nobody else to do that, I'm willing to. And
well, we kind of. Yeah, we were gonna take your place because we thought you were out of the country. But if you're here, which you are, then I don't know why we'd want to have anybody else. The only other person I could think of would be Greg, if he's willing to do it. But you know, you did a great job with it last year. But maybe Greg this year, because we're talking about the museum. It might be, you know, coming from the city's perspective, might be a good way to tie it together. Yeah.
And my schedule has changed. I could now roll up there as well but you know, I am perfectly fine with Greg or Tom or whoever doing that role.
Well, Joe, I think there's a tremendous advantage to having your face out there a little bit more frequently. I see that as a positive.
All right, I'll plan on being up there, and but I'll leave it to you all to who does the intro and synthesis.
Well, I would say that would be a great role for you, Joe, if you're willing to do it. You know, and I realize that means you're going to be traveling up here every month on a Tuesday, at least for the next couple of months. But it seems to me you'll be introducing your own curators, and like Len said, it'd be great to have your face in front of that audience. So.
Yeah, well, no, like I said, my schedule freed up, so I can certainly make it.
Okay, great, you're it.
Okay.
Tag.
Joe and Ryan, just a note on when you get the videos up there, will that be on the Waynesboro campus page of your museum or someplace else? Or could it be both? Just as something to think about, because we link to your Waynesboro campus page from our economic development website. So,
do any staffers have a recommendation on that? I know that isn't anything I was involved in a discussion with.
I think the slow release on social media was the idea. Are you guys pulling content from our site, Greg?
no, we just have one paragraph on our site and then link to yours for the rest of it. So we don't need to constantly updating it. So that's why it's good to have it all in one spot if we can, when you're ready. So.
And it's up to Ryan and Zach, but I think that's something we could do.
Okay.
Is stick to that page. That way it's a seamless kind of connection there for you.
Okay, thanks.
Keep in mind that, you know, if you're not a Facebook user, you don't have access to those videos on Facebook. Yeah. So that's why I think, you know, having in both locations, YouTube and Facebook, just, you know, increases your, and having them on the website. I think just a video archive page on the website is a great, you know, it'll track people to your website, adds value. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, Len, you've locked up.
having it at one video you're looking for. Any better now?
That's better.
Yeah. So I'm saying, you know, having it all in the, you know, on a video archive on your website, at least, you know, people aren't having to scroll through Facebook posts to find that one video that's of interest, you know.
Yeah.
I look at the view, you know, when I see the museum, I see really the heart and soul of the museum is your collections and your research, right? That's what makes the museum what it is. You're breathing, that's what makes it breathe and function. All this other stuff is an effort to strengthen those two core things in the museum. Being able to expose those collection research, the value of that, to as wide an audience as you possibly can come. That's how you build relevance, and you're going to continue to provide support, not just from taxpayers, but also from, you know, independents. So whatever you can do to try to expose or to leverage or to promote the collections and the research, I think is just another way to build, you know, support for your organization.
Agreed. Yep. What else, Joe, on the lecture series or anything else? I was wondering if is there any other news from Richmond?
Not that I've been made aware of. Jonathan, I don't know if you've heard any rumors.
So I have seen they've increased the bond issuance to $200 million. There were several projects that were already in the works, and so they're making an effort to clear the pipeline of funding. They've changed language from general funds to bond issuance. They've recapped it twice. It was 170 million, then it was 194 million, and now it's 200, and I think it's the flat 200 million, 500 something thousand. So there is progress in refunding those. The Blue Ridge Parkway, there's entrance and exits. There's a $10 million that's going to that now. So the money is starting to free up. It's made it through committee and floor approvals. And if you guys want, you can follow the Virginia Budget Twitter account like I do, and be updated periodically with whether the floor approved it or whether the House or the Senate, you know, Finance Committees made any comments. But it does seem like there is some headway being made as far as the current programs in the works, which is good news for future programs that they're not putting those current ones off. So if I have to find some good news, that's probably it.
And I guess the governor said they'd relook at the budget again in December. Is that right?
Well, they'll eventually start their short session coming up in the spring. So and then there's normally a look at it yearly around the end of the actual calendar year, and then about 3 months later they start cranking into it again. So
Yeah. But as far as, whether there needs to be any modifications, I guess, or they were going to revisit the revenue projections or something like that.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's encouraging. What else? Anybody have any other comments?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. One is I was reminded that there's a new superintendent for the Shenandoah National Park, and we probably should reach out to them since they're a significant partner in this project. Joe, and I was just looking through my notes. I know I captured the announcement of that, and I'll see whether I can come up with it and send it out to everybody. That just happened maybe within the last couple of months.
If you could find that info and forward it out, that would be very helpful. But Tom, I'll work with you
Okay.
to develop an approach, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. And then I see Siri's on the call, and I just wanted to give her an opportunity to chime in if she has any questions about the committee or, has any thoughts about what we're talking about today. I certainly value that.
Ice cream. Thanks. Yeah, sorry. For today, I thought I would be sort of well served by listening and trying to sort of get a sense of the conversation. So I don't have any immediate thoughts right now, but we'll certainly share those as they come. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Siri.
Great, and thanks for participating.
Yeah.
Just to follow up on Tom's thing, there is a what's happening in Shenandoah National Park event. I got to find it too. It's at night. I think it's the 21st with the new superintendent. So I'm going to have to find it. I'll send it to you, Joe, or I'll send it to everybody. They're limiting participation. Anyway, that'll list who the new superintendent is, the announcement. So.
Would Dan Lehman be a good person to go through to try to make connection? I mean, I don't know if the Community Foundation, how far their stretch is, if it makes it to the park or not.
No, they would not go to
I
the
don't
park.
think so.
Okay.
No.
We could connect you with the park if we want. It's Thursday the 22nd at 6 p.m. Wondering what's happening in Shenandoah National Park, how COVID-19 has affected visitation and park programs, health of the wildlife, challenges and opportunities in 2021. New park superintendent, Pat Kenny,
There you go.
formerly deputy superintendent at Yellowstone National Park.
Oh,
How do you spell that last name, Greg?
Kenney. And 100 participation. I'll forward this if you want to participate. But through our tourism connections, we could probably make that connection if you want once, maybe after this, but we could do that. So
that sounds
I
good.
also would recommend Carol Nash since she's the archaeologist at the park.
Good idea. Tom, did you have anything else? You said you had several things.
Well, no, only the Siri. I just had a couple things that I wanted to talk about there, and
Okay.
so that's
All
it.
right. Anything else today?
I have a non-committee thing that I'd save for the end, but I don't want to interrupt things with a.
I think we're about at the end, Joe.
I
so
think
go
we're
right
ready,
ahead.
Joe.
I
Let
think
her.
we're ready for it.
All right, thanks, Lynn. Well, listen, I hate to take advantage of this, but it's so hard during COVID times to get around to talk to people. And I know I've talked to a few of you, but not all. So this is the thing on a personal note. I asked my girlfriend to marry me last Saturday, and she said yes. So it's not going to change anything. Yeah. It's not going to change anything, but you're going to hear through the grapevine and stuff. And I just feel rude, about things happening that way. And since I work so closely with all of you, I just wanted to try to get the information out there a little more personally.
Well, congratulations. That's
Congratulations.
fantastic. Fantastic
Yeah.
news.
You guys
Can't
said
wait to
it.
meet her.
yeah.
Yeah, I think she needs to be invited to the next Zoom call, actually. And I think
Yeah. Make sure we
I
approve.
think the entire agenda should be dedicated to fact, let's not invite Joe. Let's just, when's
Hey,
what's
she's
the
so
date?
sharp, you might not notice a difference, you know? Even though
Have you
she's
set a
barely
date,
working
Joe?
on the project.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
do you have a,
Have
do
you
you have a
guys
date?
set a date?
No, we're gonna do just a small thing. A friend of hers is a minister, and we're gonna do a small ceremony. She wants to go to the top of White Top Mountain with her mom, and that'll be the entire thing. And then after COVID, we'll do something a little more,
Yeah.
whatever, formal.
Throw a big party. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
How
Well,
imminent
thanks for
is-
letting me indulge with the group.
yeah,
Well,
how
thank you
imminent-
for sharing. That is the best news I've had for a long time, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
yeah, real happy
fantastic.
for you, Joe. That's good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes.
Okay, can anybody top that?
Nope.
I think there's an adjournment.
Okay,
So
all
moved.
right. So we shall adjourn and we'll see everybody in November.
All right. See y'all.
Hey,
All right.
Faye, I'll send you some notes, Faye.
That'd be great. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.